and that is The Magnificent Seven. Having not seen the first 6, I thought I'd be completely lost. But it was easy enough to follow.
That's good.
Magnificent Seven is really, it's always been my nickname for my penis. So I thought the movie would speak to that. It used to be The Hateful Eight, but now it's Magnificent Seven.
Well, I mean,
as you get older.
Well, at least it's not The Angry Inch.
Okay. Either one of you guys seen that, Magnificent Seven?
I did see it, and I don't know if I can really talk about it now in context to everything you just mentioned, though. It was fine. It was, it is what it is. I hate to say that, but it's, how do I say this? The problem for me is I had watched, the original was on Turner on Thursday night, so I got sucked into watching the end of that. And, there's just no comparison to Brenner, McQueen, Bronson, all those guys. But most of the people going to see this movie have no idea who those actors are. And God forbid, don't even try to bring up that it's a remake of a Japanese movie. Don't even bring, everyone is shocked every time everyone I've talked to. What do you mean it's a remake of The Seven Samurai?
Wow.
It's fine. No, it's fine for what it. I can't. You know what? I thought some of the stunts, some of the set pieces were good. I think it could have. I think it's serviceable, if that's the word we're looking for. Entertaining, I guess. I mean, you can't really rail that hard against it, if that makes sense.
Taco movie.
Right.
Yeah.
It is one of those. It is one of those kind of bulletproof movies because it's not bad in that it delivers exactly what it sets out to. I mean, it's a mass entertainment, and yet still very much an R-rated movie, and it delivers the goods on its own terms. I gotta say, I can't think of another Western I've seen with a higher body count.
True.
Because hundreds upon hundreds of people get shot and killed in that movie.
Are you talking about just recent Westerns or just, because, there's the Wild Bunch.
Yeah, no, the Wild Bunch definitely what I would say take the cake, but there's a sequence with a Gatling gun in this that
It's interesting how they didn't even, there was no mention whatsoever of race in that movie, was there?
None whatsoever.
Which is that, I mean, it's an escapist movie. So is that good or honorable, or is that a mistake and irresponsible?
Given,
I don't know. I haven't. I didn't watch it. I shouldn't comment.
I'm going to say this, and I'm sure I'll regret this years from now. I think for right now, it is a good thing, just because if that was brought into it, the level of outrage would just be like, it's. I'm not saying that I'm against. I mean, I'm obviously not against it. I think it's very important to talk about, but and it's something obviously that we need to still talk about in this country right now. But I think in terms of Antoine Fuqua just wanted to make a thing of mass entertainment, and I think that's generally what he wants to do.
He's not trying to recreate the Old West exactly as it was or whatever, So
I won't lie to you though. I do prefer the remake of 3:10 to Yuma over this. I think that's a much better movie. But I don't think this is a bad movie. That was just my initial reactions watching it.
Well, let's face it. The original Magnificent Seven is not that great of a movie. What makes it great is its cast and particularly its score. I think it's which I hear they were wise enough to at least throw on the Elmer Bernstein score at the end of the movie.
Thank
which
God
was
for that.
Smart. But it's those two elements that really make it something. It's not the movie itself.
No.
I mean,
you're absolutely right. It is the music, and it's that last half hour, and it is the cast that makes the movie come alive. I have to say though, I got to give props to Vincent D'Onofrio in this one though. He's very good. He's
the only bit of casting that I was like, oh, that's interesting. Like that. all the rest of them were like either oh, it doesn't register for me, or like three of the 7 don't register for me as anybody that I know, and then of course the top 2 or 3 stars. I guess Ethan Hawke's kind of interesting to be in there, but
he's good. And Chris Pratt's good, and Denzel Washington. Although
I heard they had to bring in like a rewriter for when they finally cast Chris Pratt. They had to bring a rewriter in to Chris Pratt the screenplay up, so it'd be like at least a little funny occasionally.
Well, he does. There's no doubt there is some humor with him. It's not a funny film. I mean, there's not a lot of humor. You remember in the original one, you had like McQueen and Bronson and. There was obviously, a lot more humor. In this one, this does seem like in a lot of these films, humor is like a second thought. Not when it comes to mind. I do miss that. In these films, they make them a little bit too serious sometimes.
I'm getting the impression that the people who can do humor in movies are like few and far between. So nowadays,
I think you may be right there.
It's just not something that's been cultivated in the industry.
Well, they don't know how to. It seems, going. I mean, obviously, the major thing is obviously, like the Marvel films, they're very funny. But then you have DC, which are to the right of almost like biblical text in there.
Yes.
There's absolutely no humor whatsoever. So, they do try, and thankfully, Chris Pratt does bring that to the table. So I thought that was good. Ethan Hawke is good. It's a decent. It's it's a good week. The movie that at the end of the work week people want to go see. It's fine. I mean, I think we're asking too much at this point for people to go back and watch The Seven Samurai. That's how I honestly feel. I mean, we're just asking too much.
Look, if 2% of the audience or 1% of the audience does that, it'd be a good thing, I guess.
Yeah.